You're good. You're not going to be on camera or anything like that. All righty. Hi, Terry and Kaniko. Thanks for joining today. If you guys have a block at home, grab that. If you've got something really firm that you can use as a block instead, mostly for balancing and triangle pose and that kind of thing. All righty. So most of you heard that I got a little ailment going on here with my ankle. Just had a pretty bad fall climbing yesterday and caught myself into the wall, like basically landed with my feet, bam, right into the wall and just did a really deep dorsiflexion. And so I don't think anything's broken or anything like that, but we'll be taking it real slow, which is great because it's slow flow. So we'll just go really slow. So it's funny because I was thinking of coming and teaching today, and I don't ever hesitate to, even if I'm dealing with an injury or something, teaching for this many years, it's like, I know my people are going to be fine. I know you all are fine. You can hear the cues, you can follow, and you're still going to find a really good practice. Hi, come on in, Carrie. Grab a block too, if you would. And so I just don't even hesitate. I don't think, oh, I'm going to reach out and grab a last minute sub, because I know that we can still get a great practice together. So these blocks, Heather was actually signed up online, but she hasn't come in yet. But these little blue blocks that are in studio, you guys might have noticed that they're smaller than the rest. And so that kind of leads me into my thought process today, because you really only need one block for sure today. But these guys are so small that I decided to compensate and get both of them to be one block, to use two as one. But I love these. They make me happy every time I look at them, because I always think of Heather's son, Evan. Evan started practicing yoga here with me when he was about 7 or 8 years old. And it was so fun to have him in class. And these were like the perfect Evan-sized blocks. Well, Evan is like 17 years old now, and definitely very big, and he's a rock climber himself. But I like to use these Evan-sized blocks from time to time. But I was just thinking about the word compensation. So whenever you get injured, you guys cannot probably all be a little bit familiar with that term compensation, because when you injure one part of your body, what do? We have to kind of compensate with the other parts of our body until it heals. And then in the meantime, you can develop some troubles with that other part of your body that's taking up the slack for the injured side. And so I was thinking about that, and I'm like, man, I used to think about muscular compensation all the time. And now I work in human resources, and compensation means something totally different to me. So it's like, what are the compensation strategies, right? In this day and age where workers kind of have, the run of things, and how can you recruit good employees? I'm like, I'm working with a whole nother set of compensation strategies right now. So we will do our best just to have a really wonderful practice. So come to a comfortable seat for you. Close your eyes. We'll just sit very briefly to tune into our breathing. So take a few deep breaths. And as you just take a few deep breaths, consider in your own body if there's any obvious compensation going on. So an example of this might be when it is cold outside, you draw the shoulders up toward your ears to often compensate for a lack of warmth or a lack of scarf around the neck. So do that for me with your next inhale, draw the shoulders up. And then as you exhale, release your shoulders down the back. And then just do that another time or two. Inhale, lift. Exhale, loop them down the back. And one more time. And then gently lean over toward the right. Place your right hand down onto your mat. Lift your left arm high, just stretch up. And as you reach up through your left hand, press down a little bit more into the right. Compensation doesn't always have to be something that has a negative reputation. Come all the way back to center. Release your opposite hand down and then stretch up tall. Often compensation can be a result of collaborative efforts. Take one more breath, one more stretch, and then come all the way back to center. Now, both arms out, up, overhead, palm toward palm above your head. Bring the palms together right down through midline. And then stretch out, up, overhead, deep inhale. Hands joined together, exhale. One more time, maybe a little sighing sound to your exhalation. And just hold the hands in Anjali Mudra. Very slow and steady breath in, full release of your breath out. One more. All right, take your time to come to tabletop, to come to your hands and your knees. And then as soon as you do come to your hands and your knees, add a little movement that feels good for the length of your spine, for your hands, your wrists, elbows, shoulders, tail, knees, and ankles. I encourage you to close your eyes to find these movements. Sometimes eliminating that stimulation, that input that we get through our eyesight, can help to deepen, heighten our other senses. And after you've had a chance to wiggle through some movements, come back to your tabletop, come back to neutral, open your eyes, set your gaze slightly out ahead of you, and we'll extend our right leg just straight back behind us. Take a gentle, gentle turn of your ankle around in space, taking your full range of motion. Pay no attention to the restriction that you might see up here any point in the practice. And then take a very deep breath in. As you exhale, draw your knee in toward your nose and cat stretch your spine. Press into your hands. Inhale, reach back. Let's do that twice more with the rhythm of our breath. Exhale and inhale, reach back. One more time. Exhale, knee to nose, and then reach your right leg back long. You're going to bring the toes down. We're going to move into barred gate pose. Left foot goes out. Just a simple transition to take another feel good stretch. Right hand goes high, right arm can come alongside the ear. Keep pressing firmly down through the left palm and feel your torso round just a little bit, arcing its way out and over. And then bring your right hand down, bring both knees back to center in tabletop. Close your eyes, just one more moment here. Feel the two sides of your rib cage. Take a breath, let it go, and then open your eyes. Set your gaze slightly out ahead of you. Left leg's gonna go long. Take some turns of your ankle. And as you are circling your foot around, circulate your breathing. Inhale to exhale, right back to the next breath in. Now inhale, leg long. Exhale, draw the knee in, press into your hands, round your spine. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull in. One more time. And then your left leg will go long. You'll bring the toes down behind you. Right shin's at a diagonal, left hand goes high, barred gate pose. Just enjoy the stretch of this to start. Just reach overhead, press your right hand down into the floor, breathe, and then come back to center. When you are ready to get to downward facing dog, make your way in that direction. Gently pedal your feet, sway your hips, bend your knees. And if it is inviting, close your eyes so that you can heighten your awareness, the other senses. From downward dog, go ahead and come down into child's pose briefly. Move hips back to heels. You can find the full extension of your arms out in front of you, or fold your arms to create a little level, a little pillow for your forehead. Or you can, of course, bring your hands back alongside your feet. Take 3 more slow and steady breaths once you come into the shape you desire. After that 3rd breath, begin to transition from child's pose back to downward facing dog. And then finding a similar focus and energy in your downward dog as you did in that tabletop. I want you to raise your right leg up and back behind you. So set your drishti, your gaze, very intentionally down onto your mat. Comfortable position and lengthening for your neck. Take another inhale, and then exhale and step forward for warrior 1 foot pattern. Angle and anchor your back foot. Stretch both hands up high. And then let's go ahead and interlace our hands, bring the hands down onto the head. And if you're comfortable doing so, close your eyes here. Narrow the elbows ever so slightly forward. Breathe. Strengthen your back leg. Strengthen the bend in your front leg. Keep breathing. Now open your eyes if you've closed them. Take an inhale to drift your hands up high. Keep the lace of your hands. Exhale, the hands come out in front of you. Now you're going to pull the hands in toward heart. Flip the palms. Exhale your breath out and press forward. Little bend in your elbows should help with the comfort of your shoulders, but if you need to unlace the hands, please do so. Now do unlace your hands, spread your arms out wide, reach the arms out wide like wings. And then left hand goes low to the floor or a block. Come onto the ball of your back foot. Find your twist within your lunge. Right hand goes high. Breath is slow and steady once again. So in the effort of the shape, where could you find ease? Take 1 more breath in. Exhale and release your right hand down. We're going to lower the back knee, take half splits, and feel free to bring that block or blocks along the way to place under your hands. There's just a little rhythmic movement with breath. You'll lift a little bit as you breathe in, bend your elbows any amount, and fold your torso to bow forward. You can do that again if it feels good. Take an inhale, find more length, more activity through the spine, and as you exhale, find a little more ease, but perhaps a deepening sensation of stretch. All right, ease your way out. We'll take a different connecting vinyasa than our traditional one. Right knee comes back to join the left. Extend your hands way out ahead of you for extended puppy pose. Stay for 3 breaths. Find the depth that feels right for your shoulders, for your spine, for your hips. Now press down through your hands. Lift your chest up and away from your mat. You're going to anchor your forearms toward the top of your mat and step your feet way back for forearm plank. You can always modify being down on your knees or take the knees up and away. 3 slow and steady breaths. Challenging your core, challenging your focus. And then on your next breath out, release the knees, thighs, and abdomen down low. Take your face down low as well. Take your hands out wide. And when you're ready for an inhale, feel the tops of your feet anchor behind you as you lift your chest and chin. Exhale and bow forward. Stay on the palms or rise to fingertips. Take 2 more. Now go slow enough to really feel that line of stretch through the front of your body. And then hands slide back in for support. Press up to kneeling plank and to downward facing dog. Take quite a few breaths in downward dog. And if you need it, child's pose, of course, is ready and available. From downward dog, go ahead and lift your left leg up and back, set that intentional gaze down toward your mat without straining the neck. Take another breath in and then exhale, step your left foot forward. Find that anchor and that angle of your right foot behind. Raise your hands high overhead. Good, breathe, breathe, breathe. Interlace your hands, bring them down on top of your head. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Narrow the elbows to a comfortable point for you. And then inhabit your very strong legs. Feel your toes, feel your feet, and it will help you understand compensation a little bit more. With your next inhale, raise your hands high overhead. As you exhale, bring your hands down in front of you. As you breathe in, you'll pull the hands in close, and as you breathe out, flip your palms, hinge forward. Reside here just for a couple of breaths. And then you'll unlace your fingers, spread your wings out wide. When you're ready, the right hand is going to come down onto a block or onto your mat, and then come onto the ball of your back foot. Raise your left hand high. Yes, lengthen your lunge out. You might have to squeegee that back foot back a little further to be on the ball of the foot. One more inhale. Exhale and release your hand down low. Back knee's going to come down. Half splits is next. So you can always bring your block or your blocks underneath your hands. Nice. Good. You guys keep breathing here. Take a couple more breaths. That one does not work for me, so I'm going to just move right to extended puppy pose. But after you enjoy another breath or two, you can make your way to that one as well. So find that sense of rest, that sense of ease. And if your forehead rests against your mat, fabulous, soak that in. If your forehead does not easily rest to the mat, you can always grab that block if you're comfortable doing so and set it right beneath your head. One more breath here. Strong arms, strong core takes you up and away from your mat so that you can set your forearms down. This time we'll work the knees up just a little closer. So rather than forearm plank, we have the option to do dolphin pose. So you can either stay at forearms and knees, or you can tuck your toes, lift your hips. You might even choose to loosen the neck just a little bit here. And then coming back down to your knees, you're going to come all the way back to a kneeling seat. So you all will sit back, hips toward heels, working to take your shoulders right over your heels. Breathing. Check in with those compensatory shoulders. They might have snuck up toward the ears again. Relax them down and back. And then after one more deep breath, make your way back to tabletop and back into downward facing dog. Now get a little deeper with the stretch through your calves in downward facing dog. Some of you might actually need to shorten the distance between your feet and your hands to get that full effect of stretch. Really working to press the heels down. Knowing that they may or may not get toward your mat or to your mat in this lifetime. Funny thing is whether they do or don't makes no difference in your compensation in this life, as it turns out. Rise up toward your toes, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, and then walk your fingertips up high on your shins. Take a little higher than halfway lift and draw a breath in. And then take your time to come back into your forward fold. Let your head hang, bring your chin toward your chest. And now do let the shoulders drift toward the ears a little bit more. Option to wrap your arms around the backs of your legs, just loosely, casually. And then unwrap your arms, take a nice slow rise to come all the way up. Sweep your arms up alongside your ears, just stretch your hands high overhead, take a deep inhale, and then drift your arms down and out as you breathe out. Stand for a few moments, just on your feet. Take a little time to acknowledge that this actually is the first time that we have arrived here, standing at the top of our mat. With your eyes closed, feel down into your feet, shift your body weight a little bit. And of course, know that if that is a bit too much challenge for your balance, you can always open your eyes. Set your gaze intentionally out ahead of you. Draw a deep breath in, exhale all of your breath out. And then just feel your feet get a little broader, open your eyes, take a glance down to check in with the foundation of your feet, a little wider than your hips, and then take an inhale, hands high overhead. You're gonna grab hold of your left wrist, give yourself a lean over to the right toward the door you came into, that is. And then come back through center, press down, lift up and over and lean toward our non-usable door and toward the street. Come back through center. Take your time to come all the way down, hands toward toes. Quite a bend to your knees. Grab hold of your opposite elbows and then just allow your upper body to sway a little. Right to left, left to right. And as the upper body sways, see how that changes the stretch down through each leg. Keep on breathing. And then we'll bring our hands down low, turn your toes out a little bit. Feet can move out a little broader. Malasana, just moving down toward your squat. So settle your hips down. Take elbows to inner thighs. You can always meet me here in a modification if that's a little better for your ankles, knees or hips. And then just notice where your eyes are landing. See if that's a pretty good spot or if changing the line of sight kind of changes the position of your body. Take one more breath. Release your hands down, lift your hips high, work your feet back in a little closer, and we'll step back into plank pose. Moving all the way back, modifying this onto your knees if you need to. Take a few breaths. After you've taken a couple of breaths in plank, you can move through a connecting vinyasa, gently lowering down through chaturanga, lifting into cobra or upward facing dog, and then meeting back in down dog when you're ready. Draw in a deep clearing breath. Take another and maybe even one more. When you're ready, raise your right leg high. And as you exhale, step through to find that warrior one foundation as you did before. Take a breath in, raise both hands high. We'll move through that similar sequence. So as you exhale, lace your fingers, bring the hands down the head. Breathe in, drift your hands up high. As you breathe out, hands come out in front of the chest. Inhale, pull them in, flip the palms, exhale, hinge forward. Unlace your fingers, bring your hands all the way back this time. Interlace them behind the hips. Lift a little bit. Inhale there, humble warrior as you breathe out. Just as you did in dolphin pose, you might check in with your neck. Loosen it up a little bit more. Nice job, Pam. Keep breathing. Takes a lot of balance, that one. All right, lift your chest and your head. Bring your hands all the way down toward the ground. Now, rather than half splits this time, take a small step forward with your back foot and stretch into pyramid pose. Blocks are great for this one as well. If you've just got the one block, it's going to go right in front of your foot. If you've got two, you're welcome to use them under each hand. And just work to bend your elbows. That same principle can be applied here to pyramid, where you create a little more length, a little more activity on your inhale, and then you deepen the stretch and you bow forward, chin toward chest as you breathe out. And anywhere along that spectrum, you can find the place that you want to stay. Breathe. Soak in the stillness. Good. All right, now we're going to rise all the way up. So put a bend into your front knee, bring your hands to your hips, come up slow. Set your sights out ahead of you. We're going to move to half moon. So here's where you may want to have a block under your hand. You're going to shift, come to the toes of the back foot, and then start the process of hovering. Maybe that block hovers for a little longer before making connection to the floor. Roll your hip open, roll your chest open. Left hand can go high. Good, keep on breathing, keep on balancing. Keep opening yourself up. All right, warrior two is going to be your dismount. So you're going to step way back, gorgeous. Stepping into warrior two, stretch your arms out wide, reach out. Reach a little farther, come into side angle pose. Forearm to thigh, left arm goes alongside the ear. Now flowing a bit with breath, we're going to come into reverse warrior on an inhale. Right hand goes high, right back to that modified side angle pose. Breathe out. Just once more. Inhale, lift high. Exhale, side angle pose. Now go all the way to reverse warrior. Breathe in, cartwheel your hands down, frame your front foot, step back either through a connecting vinyasa or as an alternative. It might feel nice just to send your right leg up and back in downward dog and even bend the knee and circle the hip around to release it. We'll all meet back in downward facing dog at center. And then take a brief reprieve in kneeling or child's pose. Allow your breathing to slow way down. Grab a drink of water if you need it. And just settle back into the rhythm of your breath. Back into the nuance of the stretch that even your breath, even a deep breath can create.
I think my biggest piece of advice for anyone that doesn't think they have time to stretch is to simply take some deep breaths throughout your day. Can offer your body one of the most fundamental stretches that you need for longevity, deepening your breathing.
Let's come back to downward facing dog. Raise your left leg up high and then step forward for warrior one. On an inhale, bring your hands high overhead. And as you exhale, take your hand hat, put it onto the top of your head. Take a breath in to raise your hands high. And as you breathe out, the hands will go in front of you. Pull them in on an inhale, press them out. Breathe out. Unlace your hands, spread your arms wide. Right hands. No, it doesn't. We're skipping that this time. Thanks, guys. Woo. Interlace, humble warrior is where we're headed this time. Now feel your toes here. Could you shift some of that effort into your whole foot rather than the gripping of your toes? Keep breathing. Lift your chest ever so slightly, hands lower down, unlace them, and come into pyramid pose. So that back foot's gonna shift forward. Toes are gonna angle forward a little bit more. Block or blocks beneath the hands. Soften, breathe, just be. If actively participating in that, lifting a little bit and folding helps you stay present in the shape, great. If you wanna skip it, skip it. And then when you're ready to come up, make sure to bend your front knee first, then bring both hands to your hips. We're gonna make our way to half moon. So you can always reach down, grab that block, set it out ahead of you, or bring it along for the ride. So you're gonna shift, take your pathway, take your time. Keep a sense of humor about the asymmetries of our body. Take one more breath and then take your time to step back into warrior two. Stretch out, reach out, breathe big. And then you're gonna reach a little farther in front of you so that you bring your torso down toward your leg for side angle pose. Right arm's gonna come alongside the ear. Keep on breathing. And then we'll flow a bit here. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle pose. Really find the power of your breath. That deepest fundamental stretch. And then inhale one more time, and your exhale will take your hands down low. You'll either step back to plank, or you can step back to downward facing dog with a left leg coming high and just loosening, releasing through the whole leg. And then one more time, taking your choice of kneeling or child's pose. Find a little rest. Close your eyes, slow your breathing. Generate a little more focus to your breath out. So pressing the breath out. Drawing the breath deeply in through the nose if possible, out through the nose or the mouth. And take your time to move back to downward facing dog. And with some steps or a little hop, feet toward hands at the top of your mat. Take a half lift, hands on the ground, blocks or shins, and then fold forward, breathe out. Stand tall, stand strong, hands high overhead, deep inhale. And then join your hands together, down to heart, to Anjali Mudra. Close your eyes for just a few moments. Soften your shoulders down and away from your ears. And then relax your hands down near your sides. Take a gentle clench of your fists, fingers into palms, circle the wrists around just gently in each direction. And then relax your fingers loose and open. Get a sense of the feet, the knees, the hips, the length of your spine, the position of your shoulders. And as you keep breathing, the position of your ears relative to your shoulders. Breathe a little deeper still. Stand a little taller still. And then open your eyes, take a glance down to your feet, setting your feet at hip distance this time. We're going to start with our left arm. You're going to reach your left arm up and then turn your torso, reach back, scoop the hand down. So the palm of the hand comes forward and up, and then thumb up at shoulder height. Turn and rotate your palm out as you reach back. You're going to scoop that energy back up through the palm of your hand, coming open and up. And then you'll rotate and reach back. One more time, just scoop up, breathe in, and exhale as you rotate back. And then go through the other side. So you reach up, palm goes out, and then palm scoops alongside the thigh, comes forward, upward, and then you find that natural rotation as you reach back. Let your torso really reach into this as well. Really simple, but powerful movement. Maybe even let your drishti follow your thumb. One more time. All right, both hands at the same time. Inhale, reach up. Big back stroke. Little more limited range of motion. Scoop that air up. Turn the thumbs back. Hands out, breathe out. One more time, deep inhale. Go back, but then fold forward this time. Hands all the way down to feet. Get a little more active into your forward fold. So a couple of options here are to tuck your hands underneath the fronts of your feet, or you can actually tuck your hands in under the heels. You can take that position that we did before, where you just grab behind the legs. Let your head, neck, and shoulders relax as much as possible, or you can interlace the hands above the hips. Now release your grip. Slowly work your feet in a little closer. Now we're going to come down onto a seat. So getting there just any which way makes sense for you today. You're going to slide the feet out in front of you. We'll take a brief boat pose. So just hands to the backs of the thighs. Lift your feet up high. Free your hands away from your thighs if you'd like to. Press your feet out a little further. Lean back a little further. And then hands to thighs. You're going to roll all the way back onto your back. Slowly draw the knees in quite close to your chest. And I want you to place your hands in behind the knees. So this can be with the thumbs tucked in, or it can be with the thumbs out. But I want you to relax the weight of your arms. So it's just a very, very gentle stretch for your wrists. And then open the legs enough to Slide the hands out. Lay your arms just out and at your sides. Shift the legs so that now there's a little bit of challenge to this, meaning that we stack the knees right over the hips. The shins are hovering parallel to the floor. You can feel your low belly engage. Now make a slight adjustment so you get more of your upper back, more of your shoulder blades resting upon your mat. You're going to take a tap of your heels down to the floor and then just lift the legs back up, knees to chest. So the bend in your knees will stay just as it is. So that 90-degree bend in your knees stays, it remains. The knees come to the chest and we add this extra contraction to pull the backs of the hips away from the floor. You can widen your knees out as wide as you want to go. So just hugging in, low belly strength that we're developing here. Exhale everything out as you take that extra contraction to pull the hips away from the earth. And the slower you go, the more you'll actually be able to feel the challenge. Now come to a point of hover, heels just above the ground. Relax the shoulders as much as you can. Squeeze the heels in closer to your bottom. Place the feet down onto your mat. Heel your hips up toward bridge pose. Take a little shift side to side to start to snuggle the shoulders in underneath you, to find the right spacing of your legs, but you're just allowing your arms to rest and relax outward away from the body for this first round. Now roll the hips back down. You're going to narrow your feet ever so slightly. You're going to slide your arms back in nice and tight. Bend your elbows. Take the backs of your upper arms strongly down onto the mat. Lift your chest. Lift your hips back up to bridge pose. Find a spacing of the feet that you can transition your balance. So the feet might need to come in a little bit closer. I changed my mind. Roll down. Grab your block. We're going to do this with the block. It's way more potent. Grab your block, place it between your inner thighs. Then meet me back where you just were in bridge pose. So you're squeezing into that block. You're finding a width that is appropriate for your hip distance. And then keeping that action, you're going to squeeze into the block and just extend your right leg. Good. Keep breathing. You're going to rebend your right leg, set the foot down, and do the same thing on the left side. Just extend, keep hugging into the block. Now bring your left foot down, bring the hips down, take a little rest. Take the block out of the way. One more round, lift up. Envision that that block is there, that it's in place. You're hugging in with that much energy. You're going to shift the body weight into the left foot and extend your right leg, just as you did before. Now, this time, take your right foot high to the ceiling. The whole leg goes straight up. We bring the hips down and up. Press your right foot high. The leg does not change. The hips lower and lift. Just 4 times. One more time. And then release. Bring your right foot down. Rest your bones. Soak that in. Slow your breath. And then active arms. One more time. We lift a bridge pose. We're almost done with this nonsense. You're going to take your left leg straight out. Envision that you have the block there. We can't keep the block there because we couldn't do this next piece. Left foot goes high, and then we lower the hips and we lift the hips just down and up. Tracking your knee, strengthening the alignment of your knee. 4 rounds. After that 4th one, release everything down. Hug your knees toward your chest. Roll a little left, roll a little right. Deep clearing breath. And then both feet come down to the floor for a moment. We're going to stretch the right leg up. You're going to thread your right foot underneath the left leg. Grab hold of the foot. Lay your right hip down and open. Left knee comes toward your chest. This is something you haven't done before. Just take a glance at the pretzel shape before you try it. And then if you're familiar with this and you know those next kramas, those next layers or levels that feel right for your body, please do go ahead. You can always stop with knee to chest. You can draw the knee across. Just close your eyes, tune in. That's you. Gradually make your way back to center. Untangle your legs so that both feet are once again on your mat, both knees are bent. We'll move into our other side. Left leg's gonna go high just for a moment, and then we just very intentionally, like we're threading the eye of a needle, poke your foot through, lay the hip open. Right knee comes back toward your chest if you want to grab hold of it with your opposite hand. Yeah, good. It's good. Again, maybe playing a little with across the body, maybe just circling that knee around a little, changing the line of stretch. Continue to breathe. This time, as you are ready to untangle, you'll reach both legs straight out long in front of you. And if it calls to you right away, you can take both arms right alongside your ears for a full body stretch. Take a little flutter of your feet, just a paddling, toes to shins, toes away, maybe synchronizing that, maybe letting them dance a little independently. One final option, if your body's feeling really ready for Shavasana or ready for those final movements that you know are really good to go through before Shavasana, don't hesitate to do that. I will offer just one more release for the hip flexors by taking your block to the lowest level, right beneath the sacrum. Knees can be bent. You can take one leg straight out at a time, or you can take both legs out. And just breathe. Notice. And just listen for your body to let you know if that is the right thing, if that's not what you need today. Take your time. Eventually, find a place that you can truly, genuinely rest very well in. To close your practice, to marinate for a few moments. And don't be afraid to tend to any final topics that need your attention to really come fully into that rest. Continue to rest and reside right where you're at. And simply begin to deepen your breathing once again. Knowing that of all the tools, of all the resources that we derive from our practice, this ability to slow our breathing, to deepen our breathing, to be in it, is the one that we can literally take with us to our very last moments. So as you deepen your breathing, begin to reawaken the body, find a few stretches if you are on your back still, or if you are in your seat. And then just transition at your pace to your seat. And once you come to your seat, I'll ask you one more time to put that hand hat onto the top of your head. Loosen the shoulders a little bit. Sit up tall through the length of your spine. Take a slight shift of the hand hat to the back of your head. Lift your chin. Broaden your breath. And then just release the hands away from the head. Lift up tall, unlace your fingers, wiggle them up high through space, and then exhale, widen your arms all the way down, out, and near your sides. Now, just as we started, we'll take a very simple side body stretch. Anchor your right hand to the floor, stretch your left arm up. Come right into the other side when you're ready. Let your left hand move down and over, right hand goes high. And then as you come back through center, bring the palms of your hands to one another, base of your thumbs near the top of your breastbone. Giant breath in, clearing breath out. Namaste. Thank you so very much, you all. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for sharing your practice with me. And thank you for joining online. Be careful with your bodies when you can. Stuff happens.